I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And moving on to our committee reports, I just have a few things in the beginning I wanted to mention. I just wanted to congratulate our graduates of Hopatcong High School class of 2025 and congratulate the seniors of the year from the Seniors Incorporated group. It was Mary Comerford this year and Jimmy O'Brien. We had a very nice picnic for them for the seniors on Sunday. Thank you to the council members that were able to attend. It was a really nice day. The DJ was great. The weather was not perfect, but you wouldn't have noticed underneath the picnic pavilion. And for our recreation superintendent's first picnic, he did an awesome job. I also want to congratulate again the graduates from the Elite Preparatory Academy this year and remind everybody that Hopatcong Day is July 12th. And that our mobile motor vehicle unit will be here on July 29th. So that means if you remember, those appointments will open 30 days before. You have to make those appointments online. It'll open 30 days before on June 29th at 3 p.m. And we also have the Veterans Cruise is this Saturday morning. So hopefully you'll join us on the bridge around 10 o'clock to celebrate our veterans coming inside. And those were the only messages that I had. You want to start, Councilman Devine?
Yes, thank you. We had our first meeting, Finance Committee. It was a relatively quick one, but actually we're looking to get an early start on the 2026 budget, especially given last year. And the CFO is compiling some of the data that we asked for, which is really the actuals and financials from 2022 to 2024. So we could take a good, strong look at that and assess how we want to approach the budget and the gap that we have moving forward. So it's a good start. On the Communications Committee, we did have a meeting regarding that. We did prepare the goals and objectives that we're looking to get to on the Communications Committee. I believe the administrator has sent that out to all the council, so we'd love everybody's feedback. And then once we all agree on that, we look forward to getting started on the tasks associated with that. That's my report.
Very good.
No update from me, Mayor.
Jennifer?
Okay, for Municipal Alliance, the Municipal Alliance will be at Flag Day, not Flag Day, oh my gosh, Hopatcong Days on July 12th. There's a movie night planned for August 22nd at the high school practice field. We'll be serving hot dogs and popcorn and the movie will be Minecraft. The next meeting is scheduled for August 22nd at 6:45 in the municipal building. Volunteers are always needed. If you're interested in becoming a volunteer, you can email Valerie Fiorentino at valrose@optimum.net. For school, I wanted to wish all the high school graduates a warm congratulations. Good luck in your future endeavors. The Chiefs Salon will be hosting a summer camp. Please reach out to Dorothy Cordero at dcordero@hopatcongschools.org. All fall sport physical paperwork is due by July 1st to the high school. You cannot participate in fall sports without the paperwork. One of our teachers, Jim McCowan, was honored in the NJEA magazine for his involvement in our championship e-sports team. Congratulations to Angie Carty, the 2025 High School Caring Award recipient. That name may be familiar since she's also our current Miss Hopatcong, and no one is more deserving than Angie. The next board meeting is July 28th at 7 p.m. in the administrative building. Community Center, the Journey Bus will be at the center July 9th and 23rd. They were here today for the last time this month from 10 to 2. The Donsel mobile unit will be at the center July 9th and the 23rd from 11 to 1. And the center continues to have items for babies and animals available to all residents. The center is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 1. On recreation, I was invited to the Street Hockey Championship game on Sunday, and it was really a lot of fun to watch. Program runs in the spring. They have a younger division and an older division, and it's a great program. Wanted to congratulate the 2025 Hopatcong Cup winners, the Vipers. I wanted to congratulate our senior Olympiads who competed in the Senior Olympics. The senior picnic was on Sunday. Max did a wonderful job. Seniors really enjoyed themselves. I really enjoyed myself. And I wanted to congratulate Mary Comerford and Jimmy O'Brien on being our 2025 Seniors of the Year. The Miss Hopatcon pageant is June 22nd from 6 to 8 at the high school auditorium. The Veterans Cruise is this Saturday, June 28th from 9 to 11, but we congregate on the River Styx Bridge around 9:45 to wave to the veterans who pass between 10 and 10:20. Hopatcon Days is July 12th from 12 to 3. There's a Sussex Miners game on August 16th at 7 p.m. that was kind of organized by the Recreation Department by Max, and it's one of those things where you kind of show up and everybody from Hopatcon sits together. Flag Day Parade was rescheduled for September 27th. Max is still busy planning a ton of other events and activities for the community, including concerts and movies in the park, county programs for our seniors, a summer basketball league, a walking club, art classes, line dancing, and bingo night. The next recreation meeting is July 8th at 7 p.m. in Borough Hall. And I just wanted to wish Shelby, which is now moot, good luck on her QPA exam.
Thank you. Christine?
We have a new hometown hero banner. We're just looking for poles to put them on right now because we've had a few accidents in town. But we will get that dealt with, and if anyone else is interested in hometown heroes, all the information is on the website. And you can contact me, csmith@hopatcon.org. The real estate committee has had a couple more people calling in or emailing about buying property. One of them came up that there's wetlands, and people need to remember that if they would like to purchase properties that the town owns, they can do so, but there's no guarantee that it's a buildable lot, and it's your responsibility to figure that out before you buy it. So that was explained, and the people are moving forward to look into the other areas. So please keep in mind, the properties are listed on the website. And if you have any questions, please call myself or Rachel. We'll let you know. And that's all I have.
Very good. Steve?
So congratulations to Hopatcon seniors of the year. That was a lot of fun this Saturday. I did miss the cooking part of it, but I did enjoy the being served the food. It was a lot of fun.
Did you dance?
Did you dance?
No, because as soon as I saw him dance, I had to like.
Listen, those seniors can cut a rug, let me tell you.
They really
They
did.
really,
Yeah,
yeah.
they can move on the dance floor. I definitely saw that.
Oh my God.
Congratulations to Hopatcon High School graduating class. From what I saw, Hopatcon's got a bright future with our kids being taught going into college. They're very well prepared, what I see. So congratulations. This coming Saturday, Veterans Cruise it's for Jefferson and Hopatcon veterans. And if you ever attended one or haven't attended one, please do so. I've been going to these for a couple of years now, and one of the members on the cruise ship grabbed me after the event and told me, he goes, "Thank you very much for showing up on the bridge. It was a fun event, and they really appreciate it." And it's the least we could do out of our busy schedule for a couple hours a day. Go out there, show them the support for all the stuff they have done. So hopefully we'll see everybody this Saturday around 10 o'clock. And on June 12th, the 24th annual Veterans Flag Day, it was a 5K and fun walk. And it sponsors the Community Hope of Lions VA campus. And the Hopatcon Fire Department has been sponsoring this event for quite a few years. There was a couple members that actually went in the turnout gear. I decided just to go in my regular clothes. It was a hot day. Alex Rodriguez decided to go full pack. That means pack, face mask, everything, which he was crazy, but he did it. And I applaud him for that. And it was a great event. So, and that's it. And I hope everybody stays cool. And hopefully tomorrow is supposed to be 70 degrees. So, and Shelby, congratulations. I wish you luck on your QPA test. That's it for mine.
Okay, so I want to congratulate all the primary winners up and down the ballot. I know we have Councilman Bongiovanni who won his primary. Congratulations. And we have Jonathan Taylor with us in the back. Congratulations on winning your primary. Good luck to everybody again up and down the ballot in their general elections. Congratulations to the high schoolers, the seniors of the year. I would like to recognize the police department for completing the law enforcement torch run, which was held on June 6th, which benefits the Special Olympics. like to welcome aboard Ariana and Miguel to EMS. They are always looking for more help if anybody's interested. They are very busy with CPR classes as well. So if you're looking for a CPR class, please reach out to Rob Auer. We have, hold on, I gotta cross out all the dates you guys already mentioned because nobody wants to hear it 3 times. See, we have the Lake Go Back on fireworks on Friday night. Those will be around 9 o'clock. Thursday, July 17th is the Lake Go Back on Foundation Gala and Auction at Stonewater. That is always a really fun event to go to. The best part is bidding on items you don't actually want. You just help drive up the cost.
And then you get stuck with them.
I won the first year. I wasn't supposed to. I bid too much. We have a Northwood Community Association meeting this Saturday, also at 10 o'clock. So I will try to be both places in once. We'll figure that out. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Administrators report?
I don't have a report tonight, but I would like to say as we're entering the summer season, more people are out and about in town. There's children out, people on bikes, people walking everywhere, and you know, we have some paving projects going on, there's detours. I just want to urge caution when driving through town, especially at this point in the year, because a lot more people are out, and just, you know, slow down and keep your eyes open as you're driving around town. This is a very active community, and there's a lot of people on bikes, a lot of pedestrians. Just, you know, want to encourage everyone to be safe and keep that in mind as we enter this very fun outdoor season.
Oh, yes. And have a safe 4th of July weekend.
Very good. Moving on to public comment, the meeting, could I have a motion to open the meeting?
Second. Whoa.
The meeting is open to the public for anything and everything that is on the agenda and off the agenda.
Come on, Dave.
I always like to go last, so I don't repeat, whatever. Okay. First of all, are we going to have a meeting on July 2nd, or when is the next meeting that we have?
July 2nd is our next meeting.
Okay. I'm concerned about political signs. The borough has been very good as far as taking them down, and all the people on the podium have taken down their signs in due course. From what I gather, it's 24 hours, 48 hours, and they're also. When I used to put up signs, I was terrified that they would be up too long. However, Mr. Spadia's signs are still up. I called up the zoning board last week. You had 3 right around the Borough Hall. One by the Associates on Hapatchung Road.
Okay.
And one, I think, let's see, I think it was right on the corner here, and there's one still up on River Styx Road. And I've also seen his signs up in other towns. And I called up the zoning board, and they said that they would call him up and ask him if they could remove the signs. And I was under the impression that there's a fine if you don't. I mean, why should we take down political signs from the people who put them up in the first place? I mean, it's an unnecessary expense. So to ask him if we could take down his signs doesn't seem right. They should, if anything, he should just be called up and said, you have to take your signs down within 12 hours. Do we have an ordinance of this type?
We do have an ordinance. I would have to check with Mr. Donegan. That's
Yeah.
the first that I'm hearing you mention it. So.
Yeah. Okay, good. I hope the sign's gonna come down. I'll take it down myself if, if you need help.
Understand. Understand.
Okay, couple of other things. Now that we're in the summer, what's the story with the state park? I did email a letter to the Lake Hapatchung Commission, and I never got a response. Did you get a response to what I wrote about opening up the lake to swimmers?
As far as I know, there has been no discussion about that. They did mention the letter, but they have to get their permission from the DEP. The state park does not make those decisions by themselves.
I see. And what is the problem? Is it algae, or is it that we're not paying the lifeguards enough money?
We do not have lifeguards on Mondays and Tuesdays at the state park. It's just Wednesday through Sunday.
So it is
So there
open?
is no, the park is open
Oh,
and
but-
when they have the ability to have the lifeguards Monday through Sunday, yeah.
I see, okay, because I always see that signs of lake not open.
Mhm. And it could be they might not have lifeguards that day and it's all about safety. They're not gonna open it if they don't have a lifeguard for
Are they go-
whatever reason.
Are they gonna provide these young people with a decent salary?
I have no idea the salary is, that's.
I hear,
review.
it must be minimum wage from what I gather.
I don't know. I've never applied. I don't know.
You know, because if they get more people to park in the state park, they'd have the money to pay for the lifeguards, and then they'd get more people to
Mhm.
come in.
Mhm.
Okay, see. How's the survey by the police department of DuPont and other streets in the borough?
The traffic studies, we don't
Yeah.
have any update on any of the traffic
Do you
studies.
have any idea when we're gonna get them?
I don't do the traffic studies, the police department.
No, I know
does
you,
them,
I know,
so
but can you ask them to release?
We can certainly ask them. It's just something that they do when they have the availability to do it. And with everything going on with the other projects, I don't know how their time limit fits in.
What other project?
We have the New Jersey Natural Gas Project. We have paving happening right now. We have a lot that's going on.
I
right now,
see.
so.
Okay. Let's see. And I tried to get on the website tonight just to see if there was a meeting or not. And they told me that they already have my email and whatever, but then I couldn't get into it or whatever. I went to council and meetings and I
Mhm.
saw the whole agenda and I saw some of the stuff, but I really was interested because sometimes you cancel a meeting or you change the meetings. And this is the site that you're supposed to go to, isn't it?
The municipal site, yes.
Yeah.
The meeting
Uh,
wasn't listed, is that what you're saying?
It had the date, but I thought because of the heat, you might cancel it. You know, so I wanted to make sure that it was on, so I didn't come and be disappointed.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, let's see, and, let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, one other question, as far as the, us being notified on our phones, as far as the meetings or other items, do they charge, for these different notices?
Not that I'm aware of.
Because I appreciate the fact that we were notified about the paving. And that was good. But I'm just wondering is, if there's no extra charge, why not announce the meetings on the,
There is a charge for us. Do you want to catch that, Kelly?
Yeah, so the emergency notification system is for just that, emergencies. So certain messages we don't get charged for, and that's those related to an emergent situation, but other messages we do get charged for. So that's why we don't utilize that tool for things like meeting dates and whatnot, because that's not its intended purpose.
I see. Oh, okay, good. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week, I guess.
We'll save a seat for you, Dave. We'll save a seat.
Anyone else? Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back.
Motion.
Second.
Moving on to the approval of the minutes, approval of the May 28th, 2025 regular minutes. I have a motion
Make a motion?
I'll second it.
and the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusivec.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Not Moving on to 8 is correspondence. You have the May tax collectors report. And moving on to resolutions.
I had a quick question about that. For the, where was it? Shelby, I know I had asked for a breakout of like the land sales.
Mhm.
But I'm trying to find a spot now, I can't find it, but the year to date is still showing as 0 when we have had land sales for this year. So I just don't know if we can look into that. Thank you.
Is that it?
Yes.
Moving on to resolutions, 2025-110, awarding a bid for the water department for virgin carbon supply
Make a motion?
I'll second it.
and the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. 2025-111, authorizing the corrective action plan for the 2024 audit. A few meetings back, we had the auditor in, he went over several of the actions for the 2024 audit plan for corrections. And that is what is in front of you.
Motion.
I'll second.
And the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic,
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. 2025-112, the extension of the grace period for the third quarter 2025 taxes.
Make a motion.
Second.
I have a question. How long does it usually take, Shelby, for this to be done?
It really depends. It comes down from the state. I've seen it, like, it depends on when our tax rate and everything gets all approved and whatnot. So it really depends, but
Because we were a little late with our budget, well, not late,
Yes,
but like
yes,
we
and
did it at
that's-
the end of the period.
and that delays it all. So that's why we have to extend the grace period to allow for a timely fashion for people to receive the bills and be able to make the payment. So,
And the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. 2025-113, authorizing 2025 through 2026 liquor license renewals.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, just really quick, I know I sent you guys all an email about Rustic, they're having their soft opening tomorrow night. If you haven't responded, let me know if you can go, and then they are doing their grand opening on Friday, so I hope everybody goes to support this new business in town, because we're excited about it.
Okay, and the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. 2025-114, authorization for a refund of tax overpayment and cancel future taxes for block 31002, lot 26.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, Shelby, so I guess the next couple resolutions around all of this,
Mhm.
because we're not passing the bills list, so nothing would happen until the next meeting, we pass the bills list, right? Because normally they're done in the same meeting.
yes,
Okay. So we'll vote on the resolution tonight and then
they'll be on.
pass on the
so-
bills list for the next meeting.
Yeah, they'll be on the bills list for the second. It's just, there was too quick a turnaround. between
Yeah.
meetings.
Mhm.
So yeah, these are all on the bills list that will be next meeting.
Was your question also about if it affects how much it is, or it's just as soon as the resolution
I
is
think-
passed? It's
So I think because we had said like it's only like a week between meetings, there's not gonna be any impact to the
Got it.
So-
amount.
The amount's calculated based on the date that it's on the
Okay,
meeting,
got it.
so. We already had laid out the schedule of when the bills list would be, so the tax collector calculated it based on the July 2nd meeting date.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
And the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on to 2025-115, authorization for a refund of a tax overpayment and cancel future taxes for blocks 10712, lot 48C 101.
Motion.
Second,
And the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. 2025-116, authorization for refund of tax overpayment and cancel future taxes for block 40108, lot 41.
Motion.
Second,
Discussion, the title on the agenda does not match the resolution itself. Because this is an overpayment and cancel future taxes, and this is just a tax overpayment.
Which resolution is this?
It's
116.
116. So we're not canceling the future taxes.
Yeah, so it's not cancel future taxes, it's just a.
So does the agenda have to
Or
be,
no,
the agenda says cancel future taxes on block 40108, lot 41, but the resolution itself is only an overpayment.
yeah, I mean, the resolution is fine, no,
I don't know.
Yeah, just cross it out on the agenda, but the resolution is, there's nothing wrong with the resolution itself, so you can.
No, I
pass the
just want to make
resolution.
sure that the agenda doesn't have to match the resolution.
I mean, we'll correct it on the final of what gets posted for this meeting, but
Good catch. Roll call.
But now, huh?
No, I'll look at my agenda.
No.
Mr. Bongiovanni.
With an email. Yes.
Actually,
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusavik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yeah.
Thank you. G 2025-116, authorization for refund of tax overpayment and cancel future taxes for block 40108, lot 41.
We did that one.
that was the one we just did.
Oh, that was one we just said, sorry.
Okay, sounds like.
Yeah.
2025-117,
Motion?
authorization for refund of tax overpayment and cancel future taxes for block 70109, lot 8.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
And the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusavik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you. 2025-118, authorizing the submission of the FY 26 municipal aid grant application and execution of grant with the NJDOT.
Make a motion?
Second.
And the roll call.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusavik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yeah.
Thank you. Moving along, 2025-119, authorizing the appointment of the municipal clerk
Make a
I'll make the
motion?
motion.
Second.
and the roll call.
Mr.
Yeah.
Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
No.
Mr. Kusavik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
I apologize. I didn't say it fast enough, but I do have discussion. I have a question around the salary amount based on prior discussions had, but I don't know if I can have that discussion here, if we have to go in. Okay, so what do we do?
You have to go in the close, right?
After the meeting, just briefly?
This is for the salaries?
No,
This
it's
is-
for the
Municipal clerk,
119.
119.
We already started the motion and we're passing it. Half is already passed,
Well,
so.
I know, but I said, I got this out of my mouth and then the roll call started. So then I was like, do I say something? Do I not say something? But
We can, I guess we can motion to go to close. But
at the end of the meeting, that way we just continue with the rest of it.
yeah, I think that's fine.
So can we stop in the middle of a roll call like that? Because you have 1, 2, 3, you have 5 votes already.
That's a new one, right?
Yeah, that's, I don't know the answer off the top of my head. I can,
I mean, I don't want to put Madison on the spot. Are you guys okay with having discussion and then just to come back into the meeting afterwards?
Sure. I'm sorry. Are we good with having discussion
Now?
now?
No, we can't.
Okay.
That's the question. Are you guys good with having discussion at the end of the meeting to then come back into the meeting to then vote on this?
I'm fine. with it.
So we'd have to.
Just because we can't discuss it, that's why I don't
You
wanna,
have to make a motion to table.
so.
Well, you have an active motion on the table first.
I think we've been there before.
Yeah, a table, well,
We did-
Table
we're not
supersedes.
actually tabling it.
yeah.
All right, so table for discussion following the meeting.
Do you guys want to table till the next meeting or? does it-
No,
No.
no. So I just made the motion.
I'll second the table till the end of the meeting.
But we do have to come back into public though to vote on.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, yeah, action will be taken after.
So you need a
So
roll
we have a
call.
motion and a second for the,
And roll call.
just to have just, I don't, table till later in the night,
And the roll
whatever you call
for
it.
tabling.
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusavik.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes,
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
thank you. And sorry.
2025-120, authorizing full-time dispatcher salaries.
Motion?
Second.
Discussion, I just want to put on record that I would like to see the starting salaries higher, because $46,000 as a starting step is just very, very low. That's just my opinion, but that's it.
How many hours a week is a full-time dispatcher?
I don't know off the top of my head. I know it's more than a standard.
More than the 32 and a
Yeah.
half.
Yeah, more than a standard. I think it might be 40. But I'm not 100% sure.
Thank you.
Roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusivic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Moving on to 2025-121, the endorsing of the 2025 Housing Element and Fair Share Plan adopted by the Borough of Hopatcong Land Use Board from June 17.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Can we have a discussion before the roll call?
Sure.
Shelby, I think there's been some discussion online, about this fair share plan. This is, correct me if I'm wrong, these are units that are mandated by the state.
It was the calculation, yes.
I have to make a comment. I don't really like responding to discussion made online. I think if members of the public want to come here, they need to address the governing body in person at a meeting. I don't really like to get into the habit of discussing comments made online. I just want to start with that. But yes, this is required by the state of New Jersey in compliance with the fair share housing, the new legislation that came through. This plan is our response to how we are going to address the need. The state gave us a number. We, using our planning and expertise in this area, we were able to get our number down. And this is how we would reasonably address that number. Hopatcong's very unique. We don't have any active development. We don't have developers trying to build any of these housing units. So, this is our best foot forward in addressing the need that the state is requiring of us. This is a living document. This is a piece of our master plan. It's going to change over time. The land use board already adopted it. We must adopt it by the end of this month and file it as part of our legal motions with the state to be in compliance.
And we had, it's 244 units, correct?
Yes,
And over 10 years.
that is the term of this round.
Got it.
Yes.
Thank you. Did you want to?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, so the numbers that the town was given for 3 and 244, those specific numbers were ordered by a judge. So we
Right.
filed yeah.
It was originally 306,
We
and then we
appealed.
filed an appeal and it came to
Mhm.
244. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Okay, we have a motion and a second and the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusivic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. 2025-122, awarding the waste hauling service for Borough of Hopatcong Water Utilities.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
And the roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kusivic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yeah.
We have no introduction of ordinances this evening. We do have a final hearing on ordinance 6-2025. Can I have a motion?
Make the motion.
Second.
And can I, do we have any discussion? Can I discuss before I open to the public? Madison, can I discuss before I open to the public? Or does
Yeah.
anybody have any discussion? I should ask that first.
I have a question
You
here.
can do
Okay.
it.
Is there, there's no deputy clerk on this ordinance? Is that missing or?
We didn't have one in our existing ordinance. Well, we didn't, it's part of our white collar union, so it's not in our salary ordinance.
Should it be?
That's how it is right now.
So,
These are department heads. Right, Mike Reilly? I mean, go ahead. Go.
Any more questions? I have a motion to open to the public.
a motion.
Second.
We are open to the public for this ordinance and this ordinance alone. Does anybody have any questions or comments? Steve?
I'm just wondering, is there an increase in the In other words, like a 5% increase or and these minimum and maximums, or it's just being reported?
Would you like to answer that, Shelley?
Yeah, so, this was our salary ordinance has not been done since 2022, so this is addressing that. The numbers do not correlate to a percentage increase, it's adjusting the brackets as they are. So some of them have shifted, but no one is out of those brackets.
Some of them went down too, right?
Yeah, some of them have shifted in either direction.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back?
Motion.
Second.
Any more discussion from council on this? Roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez.
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to old business, the ordinance committee.
This was one of my requests. I think we had previously had this on the agenda. Is this something that we had interest in moving forward with?
I think it's a good idea. I know I've actually, I go through the code book as often as I can, but
Live in
it's, there are a lot of ordinances that we have in the code book that they're not enforced at all, so why have them? And kind of looking at what we can maybe repeal, like animals in Modoc Park. There's animals in Modoc Park, nobody enforces it, why have an ordinance not having animals in the park?
I thought that was part of the original deal for the donation of the property, that the woman that donated the property,
But there's
made that.
animals in the park.
Then it should be enforced. I mean, it's not, obviously, but I don't know how you go against something that was initially in the original donation.
I think that was just the one example she pulled, but if you go through the code book, like there's just a ton of.
I get
ton
that.
of- yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
get that. I
Yeah.
mean, there are laws on the books probably in the federal government that go back to 1700s that make no sense. They talk about tying up your horse. I get that. But, I mean, if you guys want to do it, I guess,
Cleaning up, streamlining,
yeah.
the ordinances, really taking a good look through them and.
I think it's a good
I think
idea.
that makes
Charlie.
sense,
Yeah, be a good idea to
I know
update
others,
this.
So then.
But if something is legally binding like that,
Yeah,
that you have no choice on, I don't think, unless you go back to the heirs in some way of right? Am I right? Yeah. So, but I know you just pulled that one out, but I'm just saying, if the committee is formed, I think you have to be a little cautious to make sure we understand all the history behind it, if we can find it.
So do you want me to come up with one for next meeting? Council committee for ordinance? for the
yeah,
ordinance
that's
committee?
fine. I mean, can we just tell you now? Does anybody have interest in being on the ordinance committee? I mean, cause like I would, I love reading that stuff.
Any of you guys have interest in it?
It's literally favorited on my phone, my iPad.
Well, just let us know so that Shelby and I are aware
In
of.
terms of George, maybe we can talk about that prior to the next meeting.
The what?
In terms of who's going beyond the committee, maybe we can have a discussion about that prior to the next meeting.
Hmm.
I think there are a few things to consider, time being one too, with some of the, a lot of things that we have to do, but I do think it's a great idea.
Okay,
The next one is also a New Jersey Abandoned Properties Rehabilitation Act, or what we call the zombie ordinance. I know, a lot of people have been coming to the meetings, whether it's to, say complaints about houses that are not kept up. Something else we do have something in the code book. And if you do have any complaints or want something addressed, send an email to our zoning officer. But I just wanted it on the agenda so people are aware we do have something already established that they can reference if they wanted to look up. The next one is also me. So the council person for a week, we discussed, not every week, Shelby, just one, just 1 week out of the year. The school is on board. They're actually very excited with the initiative. They want to leave it up to council on how we want to set it up in terms of kids applying, how it would work, so on and so forth. So that's just a general update. And then probably by the next meeting, I can have like a layout circulated of what my thoughts were, and then you guys can give me your feedback. So we can get this going.
How often would it be?
1 week. So there's what's it called, Shelby, the municipal government week. I think it's 1 week in April, so I'm thinking maybe that's something that we do
Coordinate.
every April. But just FYI, so the school's on board.
What age group?
We can discuss it, but I'm thinking high school, whether it's juniors, seniors, just seniors. Again, we can discuss it and go from there, but they do want ball in council's court to kind of lay out how we see it going and then communicate with them on that. The police ordinance, I wanted to ask if there was an update on that. That was the, I guess, the stripping of the word commissioner from it. Have you guys heard anything back on that?
We have it drafted. It's going to be on a future meeting.
We don't have a timeline for that yet.
The 16th
Yeah.
of July, that is.
Okay. Next one is not me.
Cannabis ordinance?
Cannabis ordinance. So I understand that the cannabis ordinance is written and ready to go. I did speak with land use board on Tuesday, just giving them a heads up that it was coming. I kind of wanted to know where we were with this survey, from the communications committee.
So, we selected the application, but, you know, there are some headwinds in terms of the way that we want to do it. And I already, you know, Eric talked about this at a prior meeting, but given the fact that we don't have an attorney at the moment that can help us with that, there are some things that we need to understand from the attorney in terms of the data we're allowed to get, right? Because we really want to put on as part of the municipal website. And we would like to get people's email addresses as part of that, right? Because I think the key here was so that we have to have a system that, you know, we can minimize any gaming of it, if you will. So we're at the moment, we are a little stymied because of the attorney situation. The other thing too is it needs to be implemented. Obviously, the communications committee is not going to do that per se, and the administrator is working on getting that done too. So there's a little bit of work to get that done, but we are trying to set up a survey that we could use not just for this, but that we could use confidently for getting feedback from residents of the town on many different topics. So this is not a one-shot deal. We're really trying to put something together here that will be very valuable to the town, and more importantly, very valuable to the
Which
residents.
application, Anthony?
Sorry?
Which application?
Survey Planet?
We've always had an attorney, right? Are you talking about the different personalities that we've had, or because we've
No,
always been represented by?
Yeah,
legal?
well, I mean, I think things from a, you know, attorney perspective has been slowed down a little bit. So this one is, but that's not where I'm involved in it.
Shelby, can you also give us an update where the ordinance is concerned? Because I didn't think that the ordinance was finished,
What the
the
cannabis?
cannabis ordinance.
Um,
I mean, all of the towns hadn't responded yet. We still don't have.
Oh, what time?
I haven't done all my research on it yet.
Okay. Yeah. I think
It's
it was-
still a work in progress.
Yeah, I didn't think that it was finished.
I thought you had mentioned to me at the last meeting that it was drafted.
There is a draft, but I don't believe it is finished.
Okay, so I just wanna I'm just gonna ballpark for you guys this with Franklin, using Franklin Borough as an example. Their revenue is $1.8 million a year. $1.8 million. We're not talking about a couple $1,000s. We're not talking about tens of thousands of dollars. We're talking about millions of dollars.
Yeah.
So I just want to put that on your radar, that their revenue is $1.8 million. And that's,
I get that, and you know what, I think if it's $1.8 million, right, that is very significant.
significant.
And I just want to clear the air here. In no way am I trying to slow this down. I've seen some comments regarding that. The reality is that, yeah, I'm going to tell you, I'm not against it, okay? But it is a polarizing topic. And let me just finish my thoughts.
I'm sorry.
You don't mind.
No.
The part that I'm concerned with is I want to make sure that we do the diligence that we need to do. We have to take a look at things economically, which I will tell you that if it's going to bring in $1.8 million to the town of Paccon, we're all going to like that. I don't know if we need to do that analysis, right? To understand why does Franklin benefit so well? Why do other towns not? But then the other things we have to look at is the location. Where do we want to put it, right? The environment. Do we want to put it in a strip mall where it's next to True Vine Ice Cream, which we probably wouldn't, or do we want to put it in a standalone building, right? The hours of operation. So, and I think we want to learn from the experiences of some other towns that have done this as well. So given the fact that it is a polarizing topic, I want to make sure that regardless of which way we vote on it, we're very much able to articulate why we were for or against it, because we're going to have residents in the town that more than likely are not going to like it regardless of which way it happens to go, okay? So I understand this is taking a little bit of time. It does have to go through the land use board, which that's not going to be trivial either. So some of these things, I know that the survey looks like it's holding it up, but I think there's a lot of other work to go do here. And I think we should be taking some of those actions in parallel, right? To make sure that we have what we need when we get to the point of voting on it.
So I have a question then. So what type of question is the communications committee trying to formulate?
The
Because,
communications committee hasn't formulated a question.
wait, hold on, let me finish. I apologize, I wasn't done.
Yeah, no worries.
So, because and I understand going into depth on it, which I appreciate, because that's how we should approach every subject. But my understanding is the communications committee is to gather the data on the feedback from the residents on the topic itself, not the location, not anything else other than
I'm not
what it
talking
is.
about this.
No, but you just did. You went very into detail on the location and where and everything
That's
else.
other research that has to be done.
No.
No,
before
I,
this-
wait,
yeah.
hold on, correct,
Yeah.
outside of communication, so the ball right now is in the communication committee's court. And the communication committee was tasked with formulating a question to go out to the public. So what do we need legal guidance on in terms of the question? So what question is it that you're trying to populate that you need legal guidance on?
The legal guidance was wrapped around the PII data that we could ask for, whether we can ask for, people to sign on the website with their not the password, email address, phone number, right? Whether we, should.
It has to do with the records retention related to the data we collect.
Mhm.
And that was a legal question that I posed because I have run into this issue before.
Mhm.
So I want to make sure that we're not gonna run into issues in collecting and storing that data.
Mhm. No, and
How
that's
is
fine,
that
but I
different
think,
than Nixle though?
Nixle's totally different. Cause people are voluntarily opting in and there's all these disclaimers and whatnot. So we have to make sure that this app that we want to use also ticks the boxes with all those disclaimers.
yeah, so my comment to that is, and I totally get, but I appreciate an update like that. Because when the public hears it's in the works, because these committees, like, we can't as a full governing body be in a committee, otherwise it's an open public meeting. So whatever information you can provide publicly, not just for the council, but for the public as well, that way they don't feel like you're just slow boating it. Hey, this is, we're and I'm not saying you are, I'm just saying, like, that was a great response. So the public genuinely understands there is something that we have to look
Yeah,
into.
Clarification so for Nixle, users sign up, they are
Mhm.
giving you their information. The reverse is we are asking for the information. So that's where my question arises. And again,
Right.
storing the data. So I just
Mhm.
want to clarify.
Oh, yeah. But I think any updates from any committees across the board, that we have to be as direct with what's actually happening that we can share without, getting into legal trouble, but just so the public understands, there is things happening.
Well, I think my big point, though, is not so much about the survey per se, because it is what it is, we're trying to put together processes. As I mentioned, we're trying to put together a tool that we can use for many things.
Right.
But the point that I'm really trying to make here is that there are many other things that we really need to do from a diligence perspective, and we should be doing those in parallel, because those things are going to take time, and they're going to take, I believe, longer than what it would take to go get, the survey program implemented and then actually take the survey.
Mhm.
As far as the question is concerned, that's not really the purview of the communications committee. Maybe the communications committee can give their thoughts and ideas, and then the council votes on that. We could, we can make that go any way that we want, whether we just simply want to ask a question, are you okay with the sale of cannabis in the town of Apacon? Or do we want to put a little bit more detail in there in terms of what it is that we're thinking from a council perspective in terms of how to best implement it, so.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think you said it best. I think we need to do it in parallel, right? Because I don't think the ordinance is contingent on the question. The question is a nice to have, and that's a good suggestion, and we're gonna try and get that underway, but we should definitely be drafting this ordinance. Making sure that whatever Anthony just said, so when we are ready to pose a question, we have everything wrapped up and ready to go, right? I don't think we need to wait on the question to
And
do the
then,
ordinance.
right. But you also be careful with the information you get from other towns. You have a major highway going through the middle of Franklin with a lot of a lot of commercial property and so forth. It's a totally different dynamic up there. And so I think 1.8 million is a wonderful number, but in reality, the fact that how many other ones, I would like in context, how many other, we have 6 or 7 within 10 miles of us here. Do they have 6 or 7 within 10 miles?
So
of
Jennifer
them?
outlined this last time when we spoke about it, the fact that none of those have delivery services, which I think is like a 4-point license or a 5-point license. Jen articulated this last time. 6-point license, where those are the things that they don't have. So, I mean, to be honest with you, I really don't care what other towns are doing. I honestly don't. I think we set the ordinance based on some guidance we get from legal, and I think we look at how we want to position ourselves to be different, and the delivery part is the different part, where we're not just selling to our community and the money's kind of going from Peter to Paul. And look at some of the differentiators in the space. But again, these are all things that need to be put pen to paper so we can start getting the ball rolling on this. Again, the question is just a question. We don't have to not pass this ordinance because we don't get a question out to the public, I think.
No, I agree with you there,
Yeah.
but I think the experience of other towns can be pertinent, maybe not, in terms.
But I
of
certainly don't think
dollar.
it should, I certainly don't think it should hold it up. And to be honest with you, if anybody wants to know what the other towns are doing,
Go ask.
pick up the phone and call and ask. I don't think it should be on Jen or Shelby to do that.
The driver is really instead, because I've heard from council now a couple meetings. Oh, look at Vernon's, look at Franklin's, but I haven't heard what you want Hapakong's to be. I've heard, look at these other towns, but I haven't heard like, let's create for Hapakong. So I think that's really, based on what you're all saying, I think that's really what you need to do is what do you want here, not what is everyone else doing?
I thought we did.
We
I-
did. I produced Vernon's ordinance.
And Bob
Yes.
said that when Bob was here, Bob said that it was like a great,
It was a
right?
great ordinance, and it was very well written and very well thought out, and he had already that, maybe it was him that told me that it was
But
drafted.
then that again, that's just Vernon's ordinance with Hapakong
Yeah.
crossed in. So that's, if that's what the council wants to do, that's fine. But I think, and to Joe's point is maybe don't do that, but instead, you can use it as a base, but explore what does Hapakong want instead of just, Vernon with like Vernon crossed out.
Yeah, I think probably the next step, Jen, since this is your baby here, is whatever information you have, circulate it,
I did.
circulate it again.
Okay.
And then let's say, hey, give us your input on how you want the ordinance drafted. If people respond, great, we could take that into account. If people don't respond, then you work with Shelby and our legal team to draft up the ordinance, and I could help you with that if you need to.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, I'll distribute Franklin's too, if that helps.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I do.
Let me write it down.
So because again, Hopakon has a unique situation because we don't really have a town center. Christine's right, we don't have a highway.
Right.
We do have Sparta Stanhope, which is our B1 zone where, you have manufacturing out there. You can manufacture out there, you can sell out there, you have different options and I think that this is a conversation that Shelby and I had about where the council is going with this specific, because there are other things that you can do that other towns are not doing, that we have a little bit of difference to us. We don't have to model exactly what Vernon is doing or Newton is doing or whoever is doing, because we're very unique to those municipalities. Stanhope is very similar to us, but Stanhope is not doing that. But again, Stanhope does have a highway that goes through with 181. So it's the idea of figuring out the direction that you want to go, because nobody's talked about how many licenses, nobody's talked about if they want to allow manufacturing, nobody's talked about a lot of the other different things.
Growing or.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
well, I think that's where
Yeah.
it's time for
because we have
information
that.
to be
we-
distributed, us to put our stamp on it if you so choose to, and then whoever wants to get involved in the ordinance, and then we could all review it afterwards. I think it's time to put pen to paper on this.
I will send those out.
Okay.
Um, next one is me, but actually Steve, why don't you go first with yours? Mine's gonna be,
Are you sure?
Longer.
So I feel like I'm taking up your time here.
nope, go right ahead.
So on the short-term rental, same thing like with the ordinance committee. I think it's important to revisit some of these ordinances and follow through. Because and make sure they're being followed. I think in past few years that I know I've been a big fan of introducing the ordinance to fit the short-term rental and make sure it's licensed, make sure it's registered, make sure it's either fire department or the fire marshal inspects it. And I think that ordinance got implemented a couple of years ago, but I don't think nobody's following through.
Hey, Steve, I have a question. Maybe this is a question for Shelby, right? I think we keep hearing that, or at least in conversations, like we have ordinances, and this goes back to the ordinance committee that aren't getting executed. Is it a capacity constraint? Is that the reason why? Without getting too much into like the personnel details on it.
Yeah, there's a couple different reasons. Some of them are just not written well. So there's a lot of loopholes. This is one of them where there's a lot of issues with our existing ordinance, and we are meeting internally with all the departments that are involved, because it's not just one or two departments. There's like 5 departments that are involved in short-term rental. So we are all meeting tomorrow morning actually about this, to see if we do need to propose a change to the ordinance to make it so that we can enforce it better. And so we can cut back on some of these complaints and actually address what we want to address with it.
Yeah.
And that is a trend with some of them. Others, it is a matter of staffing,
Mhm.
and budget constraints as well. But it's
Yeah,
The police
a
involved,
mix.
So I could-
the police involved in that because.
Short-term rental, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was
short-term rental's a lot of-
yeah, because I'm getting a lot of questions in my area
Everybody's-
about that.
So I could see a good amount of value with the ordinance committee with that then, and then I think probably we need to address like how to enforce these ordinances, right? Cause I think there's probably a lot of things on top of the short-term rental. I know we drive around and see some pretty disturbing stuff and
It's not being
around
done.
town and
So it is a borough ordinance.
So I think one of the reasons why I really
I think
kind of
land use is also involved in some elements.
was taken back a seat a little bit on this issue is because I know Shelby just came on board. She had other issues she was dealing with, and we needed to get her fully implemented into her position. And she's done a wonderful job so far. And we have CFO now. We have the clerk hopefully now. Like we have the full staff assembled now,
Mhm.
besides the attorney. And then we could jump on that and hopefully and get everybody implemented and full gear ahead. Because to me, having these ordinances and not being
able to execute.
executed, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
If you don't enforce them, and we have all these people that we pay on salaries that, what are they doing?
Well, that was my
That's not
question. So maybe,
That's not always the issue.
yeah,
Well, but if they need help,
Yeah.
then we have to look at that.
that's what I was
Side of
gonna
it
say,
also.
maybe a part-time position for
Yeah,
someone who just writes tickets, all like a meter maid, just writes tickets all day.
So I know the registration part of it from Airbnb was, or short-term rental. I think we have like 6 people that are registered in town. I don't think anybody even knows if anybody's registered.
I think
There's like 9 or 12.
9?
But there's a lot more than that, I know.
Are we,
dozen.
like, have we discussed, like, are we okay as a borough with having the Airbnbs?
But that's
Yeah.
part of a new discussion, because there are municipalities that absolutely do not have Airbnbs because they just very easily send out enforcement, issue the fine, and that's it. There is no going back. And then you have the towns that do have the Airbnbs. So but again, that's part of a discussion for where the ordinance
I
is
think we-
going. We've been doing research on that also to see what other, especially lake communities are doing. A lot of them seem to have they don't do them. They don't allow them.
Yeah, cause I'm just trying to think of like, especially with like the initiative that Christine's leading with like the lake, like, and I understand that. Airbnbs to probably bring some sort of revenue to the small businesses in town, but does that outweigh the damages that's being done around the neighborhood? I
And
feel any
how
kind of
much,
answer
how
that.
much effort
I
our
was just,
staff
I was
is
just gonna
taking,
say,
it's
that's-
costing us a lot of money. And I don't think we're making any money, you know, we're really,
On what?
I mean, when you have somebody say, I'm gonna turn my house into Airbnb, we're not charging them as a town a fee to do that.
Sure we are. They have to get a license.
I get,
$300.
it's $300. You know how much it's costing because the garbage is being left out, going all over the road. The parking is forever
Yeah,
and
we're in
people
the rat,
can't get
yeah.
through.
Well, that's,
The rats are
Steve-
running around.
Then
the
to
place.
build. Yeah, Steve had more to talk about.
so that's
Yeah.
part of the
Yeah.
committee that we're going to talk about
Right.
is how do we implement the taxation? Because if you look at right now, like you said, $300, the fine is if you don't register Airbnb, according to our ordinance, is $2,000 per day.
Right.
But how do you,
who's collecting-
how do you quantify that though? Like, how do you know that they are an Airbnb and not registered as one though? Like,
From the website.
Go book yourself.
On
an
my
Airbnb.
street-
Go in there and go look.
On my street alone, there's 3 of them.
You,
Just on my
because
street
they
alone.
go, if you
In
go
our
onto
street, I have
Airbnb,
three.
you look
Yeah.
and just tap on there's
Hudson,
Airbnbs that you
Hudson
can.
has like 4 or 5
See where they are
and they
online.
are.
but how do you know that those, so.
My,
okay.
my,
Because they're advertising as
Yeah, I get
Airbnbs,
that.
plus they also have
Yeah.
history in them, they also have comments
Got
of
it.
people that stayed there.
Got it.
So. we
My biggest
screenshot
issue
Those things.
it's like EMT, EMS is not involved, for back on fire department is not involved.
Mhm.
The Department of Construction is not involved, fire marshal is, like, I don't think they're really involved at all, which they need to be. And if you go on their Airbnb website
Mm.
and every single one of them says maximum sleeping 10.
Mhm.
I don't know too many homes in Opakon that could fit 10 people.
Well, I think
And the
that-
reason why I say that, there was a small house across the street from me as Airbnb. It was the size of a garage, right? And he had one small bedroom, and then one weekend, there was 12 people sleeping in that
Yeah, I think they
bedroom.
include like the sofas and like.
Yes.
It's something that we
Yeah.
should really consider to see like what other lake communities are doing, because some of them that are lake communities, they are outlawing it because it does put a strain on the municipality, it puts a strain on our
Yeah.
emergency services, it puts a strain on a lot of different things.
Mhm.
But again, something to look into, something to consider,
You should see what other.
aside from,
like
raising
South
your
Jersey,
fees and things like that, that type of stuff.
But this is just, we put in a paper just so kind of, we'll have an active discussion.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Shelby's on there, and so, we'll come up with the right solution, it will take time, and we want a public's opinion
Mhm.
and their issues, and just bring it towards us. I know everybody has my phone number, but if anybody needs it, I'll be more than happy to give it away.
So Logan just said that you should look at houses near the ocean as well, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah,
perfect.
because the one near me, they're getting something like.
And the other thing that's very
$20,000 for
important,
something.
Joe, that doesn't happen with these is the owner is supposed to stay on the property.
Absolutely, yeah, that was, and that's not, that is hard to.
And that's hard to
Is that an
prove.
ordinance?
That's in
It's
it,
part of
and
the
it's very hard to prove, and at the land use meeting
That you
the
can't.
other night, that was a very big thing, I'm surprised that nobody's here from the
The
meeting.
other thing though, too, I mean, it's hard to just shut it down altogether though, too, because it does cause a hardship for some people to count on that revenue. Like if they leave for a month, then, they want to rent the house. So it's, when I was on the land use board, and this came up a couple of years ago, you were trying to kind of balance those things. But, we have a lot more data today,
Right.
in the past 2 years. So we just need to gather that data and really go through it and be thoughtful about what it is that we're going to do and put together an ordinance that makes better sense now than the one that we have. But as well, talk about how do we get the enforcement for it? Because that was the biggest problem from a land use perspective. They just did not have the people to go do the enforcement.
Right.
So it didn't make any sense to put together an ordinance that we couldn't enforce. So I think a couple of things that we talked about, the ordinance committee, and now what we're doing, we're thinking this, we can package that all together and come up with the right solution.
Yeah, I don't like that idea, since I don't like the idea if you can't enforce it, do nothing, right?
Right,
We have to
yeah,
fix the enforcement part of it,
exactly.
But then it costs you money. Like, look at all the emails that we got in the past week,
Mhm.
right? Like, that was,
Correct.
People are
right,
upset.
that, the garbage and
Yeah,
the fire and
the-
the, whatever it was, and the police, all of
People
our
are
resources are
upset.
being
We'll
used.
say anything regarding housing is very, very difficult to enforce because we are not Big Brother. We cannot just go and kick in someone's door and be like, do you live here? Are you here? Like, we can't do that. We're not allowed to do that. So there's so many complex issues with this. And like I said, I'm meeting with staff tomorrow. So, this is something we're actively working on, and it's the summer season. So we're seeing an uptick in these rentals, and we're seeing an uptick in the complaints as well. So I'm glad to hear that council is open to revisiting this, and I think we can all work together to come up with a solution that will work best for the town.
Mhm.
Well, that's the idea,
Yeah.
to start the opening discussion regarding this.
Mhm.
So I think that's all I got, and I know Rachel is like stomping her heels here.
Yeah.
She's like,
So Article 2 residency requirements in our very dated code book. We do have a residency requirement that when you are hired, you actually have, I think it's 1 year to move into town. So I'd like for council to look through this chapter of the code book and kind of lift that restriction. I think it would help Shelby in hiring for future positions. Help find more qualified candidates, because nobody should have to be required to upheave their whole life to move into the borough, go back onto work here.
Again, if you're not following it, why have it?
No, I certainly agree with that statement. Are there any business critical positions where we would require people to live in town, like for emergency
I think the
police?
OEM has to live in town.
The
Is that
OEM
right? Okay.
Anybody who's like, I'll call anybody on
The OEM could be within town or within a reasonable proximity, and there's no definition to reasonable. That would be up to like the administrator of the hiring. But yeah, but other outside of OEM,
Yeah, I would agree with that,
Mhm.
yeah.
so. Okay, so we just, what do we do with that, Shelby, to go forward to, I guess, redo that
Yeah.
chapter?
We would kick it to legal to write us an ordinance. I guess repealing this part of the
Part of
code.
it.
So we actually have to write ordinances to repeal ordinances, so it just adds to our code book. Is that accurate?
Yeah, usually it's like amending and supplementing with the deletion of, yeah, basically.
And staple all the pages together so that you don't have to look at them anymore.
Repeal, staple together.
Well, it's like a catch-22 then, right? Because like we're
Mhm.
in violation, or we pass the ordinance to amend, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like what, which is the worst of the evils? Okay, so would council want to move forward with?
Yeah. I think
Yeah, I'm
that-
good.
Do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
reasonable.
All right, and then the other new business items that I requested, I'm gonna go through them. They're not on the agenda, but I'm gonna go through them anyway, because I do want to give the public an update on a lot of things that,
Rachel, I didn't put them on the agenda for a reason, because most of those things belong in committee reports.
okay, this is,
Our meetings are long as they are. The meetings are long. We have an executive session tonight. It has nothing to do with not being able to discuss them, but some of them we've discussed already. And again, we can put them on a future agenda if you'd like to, but when I received everything, there were 12 different items to add to old and new business, and it's a lot to ask of people.
yeah, no, it's gonna take me a minute to go through it, so I did request that it was on the agenda, so because this is where we can have our public discussion, I just want to give an update to the public so they know where everything stands.
But the updates should happen in committee reports.
So
They
we
should
have a
happen in
process that we
business.
agreed to like 3 or 4 months ago.
Correct.
And we followed the process, and it should go on the agenda. And that's what should have happened.
No, they go on the agenda. They go on the agenda when you request for them to be
They
on the
were
agenda.
requested.
They were requested to be on the agenda, and I said that not everything would show up on the agenda.
But that's not the way the process works.
It is the way the process
No,
works.
the way the process works that we.
I'm not, you know what, I'm not gonna discuss it. We're gonna go back to the point of origin. They're not on the agenda. We're gonna move them to another agenda. If you wanna discuss them at another time, that's fine. We're moving on the agenda.
Okay, so respectfully, prior meetings, before we had a process, anybody on council has always been able to raise a topic, whether it's on or off the agenda, that we can just have a general discussion about. So no public discussions are now authorized unless it is specifically printed on the agenda, just for my clarification.
No, that's not it at all. You're bringing in things that you asked to be put onto the agenda, and now you wanna discuss them after I had said we would just put them on another agenda because the agenda was a long agenda this evening.
Yeah, this will take less
And
than,
you want to do something that you want to catch the public up with,
I
which you
think-
can possibly do during the committee reports at the beginning of the meeting and not as old business. Catching the public up on topics is not old business.
I
It's a
think
committee report.
I think we already spent a couple minutes on discussing it. If she says it's gonna take her only a minute to catch up and at least fill in it.
Because there's a process, like they're talking about, there's a process to follow.
That's right. And she followed the process, and I followed the process, and it was still left off the agenda,
It was left off the agenda because I didn't put it on the agenda.
which is not.
it's fine,
what-
Ben, it's fine, it's fine. We will just not discuss everything else that's happening, so. I will send a second request for an email to the next agenda and I will get the same response. And at the next meeting, I will publicly discuss these items in my committee report because the mayor is not allowing me to have a public discussion to update the public on the
So
matters
update-
that I've gotten inquiries about.
Rachel, we'll let you update the public this time, but any of these reports belong in committee, they belong in committee reports. They don't belong in headlines for old business or new business.
Okay.
All right, quick again.
No, I'm done. I think we're at public comment. It's the mayor's agenda. So next item, please. Thank you.
So you're not going to discuss them this
We're at
evening.
public comment.
So just to clarify, you're not going to do it this evening.
I will send a second request for your
Sure,
process.
Sure. Okay. Meeting is open to the public for anything and everything.
I will make a motion.
I'm sorry, motion open to the public.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is open to the public for anything and everything that is on the agenda and off the agenda.
I'd like to hear what Rachel is gonna have to say. No, I want to do it.
She's waiting till the next meeting. Anyone else?
July the second, next meeting,
I'm sorry,
July the second.
Yes.
Next meeting,
next Wednesday.
you'll be ready to prepare.
I'm gonna resend my email. Yes, thank you, Lynn.
Logan, you gonna say anything or
No.
no?
Anyone else?
Yes, I get something.
I heard you just talking about the bed and breakfast. The first thing I would like to say is get these mics fixed so we can hear you. Because we really can't hear. A lot of people talk loud. But about the bed and breakfast, do we have somebody regulating that? Do we have someone looking over it? Nobody. So anybody can do what they want in this town,
Sounds like.
rent out their houses and everything. So shame on the council and everybody. I have to say that. Second thing is about the cannabis. Talk about this cannabis. In the election, it was voted on. 72% of the people in this town voted to legalize marijuana. Okay? So I don't know what the problem is, what the holdup is. All right? If you're gonna put out 1, 2 stores, whatever the case may be. I mean, get with it. Let's get with the program. And Mayor, one thing I gotta say to you, I don't understand where you're going lately. We voted you in to work together with everybody. And it seems since day one, you haven't been. All right? I wish you would get on program with everybody else on this council and work together. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
My petition is here too, by the way,
Okay,
when I was petitioned.
I'd like to say that, on a comment on Franklin, with so much money coming in from the sale of cannabis. Franklin is as different from Opatcon as New York is from New Jersey. I worked in, Franklin 10 years. And, they have an awful lot of transit people there, and the commerce is totally different than here. And I don't think, their revenue would be, well, our town would come up with their revenue because of the transit, population that's in the town. And also, what passes through for commerce on Route 23. But, if our town is 10% of that, that's good. That's all I think it would be
Yeah, great.
on that, but,
I understand.
there's a big difference. You can't compare Franklin, New Jersey. Now, New Jersey has perhaps 6 or 8 different Franklins. If you mean Franklin in Sussex County,
Borough, yes.
then, there's a big difference on the population, both resident and transit. So, I'm sorry,
Mhm.
you know.
no, understood. Anyone else? Not seeing anything, motion to bring it back.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I do not have any mayor's comments, but can I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel?
Motion.
And we will be taking action afterwards if you wanted to wait for the hallway. And then come back, or you can just wait till next week to get the results.
So we have a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
All in favor?
Aye.
They'll be there forever.
Yeah. Do we have to redo the vote?
Yes.
Yeah, because you didn't have a. Or Rachel didn't vote. Okay, we are back in open and we are on to resolution 2025-119, authorizing the appointment of the municipal clerk.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
And can I have a roll call?
Mr. Bongiovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Falcone,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson. Yes. Mr. Kukovic.
Yes.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Yes.
Ms. Smith.
wholeheartedly, yes.
Okay, do you want to do your oath real quick? We'll stay up here. We don't need to go down there. So you'll raise your right hand. I, Shawna Jonah,
I, Shawna Jonah,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United
of
States
the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established
established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform
perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
Borough Clerk
Borough Clerk
according
according
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
We just wanted to make you sweat a little bit.
Now you're official.
That was a test you passed.
Very good. And then we just need a motion to adjourn.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So